How to Survive in the Desert, the Life-Saving Guide. In this video, I cover the necessary steps in order to survive in the desert, making this a life-saving guide for you. I also recommend a great book. There's a manual for desert hikers, campers, and travelers. See the link to this awesome book in the description section below this video. If you enjoy our video, please like it and subscribe to support our channel, and also hit the bell icon to get notified when we upload new videos to our channel. Enjoy the video. A few years back, I stumbled upon the movie Gary by Gus Van Sant, featuring Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. The movie tells the story of two men who go on a hike in the desert but forget to bring with them water or food. I remember that I could actually feel their struggle and fight for survival while watching the movie. Driving or walking in the desert is a real challenge. Nothing for miles and miles ahead but sand, hills, desert plants, and maybe some rocks, not to mention the heat of the day and the cold of the night. That is why you have to be fully prepared when embarking on a drive or a hike in the desert. In case you happen to find yourself stuck in the desert, here's how to survive in the desert. Step 1. Plan ahead and prepare. If you're planning to camp or hike in the desert, it's important to study the terrain in place. Find out how big it is, where are the nearest roads, is there any satellite or cell phone signal around or nearby, and basically try to know everything that is possible about the place. The desert does not forgive mistakes, nor does it give you a second chance. If you get stuck in the desert without planning to be there in the first place, not to worry. This is precisely why I make this video, ensuring your survival even in the most surprising of situations. One thumb rule you must obey is to always tell someone, family member or friend, where you're headed and when you're planning to be back. When it comes to preparation, here's what you should do. 1. Clothes that minimize loss of sweat. Your body loses water mostly due to perspiration. That is why it is advised that you choose clothing that is lightweight and loose to cover your skin. This way, your sweat will get caught against the skin and thus slow evaporation and loss of water. You should wear an undershirt that is made of cotton and cover all of it with light windbreaker. Also, wear a hat, gloves, sunglasses. Pack clothes that are made of fleece or wool. If you get stuck in the desert during the night, this will keep you warm. The best clothing to wear is white clothing, has a label of 30+ UPF, ultraviolet protection factor. The reason is because clothes that are light colored tend to reflect more heat, yet clothes that are dark provide better protection from ultraviolet light. 2. Lots of water. Anytime you find yourself in a desert or entering a desert area, it is best to bring a lot of water. A person loses 900 milliliters of sweat each and every hour when walking in an environment of 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Divide the water among several bottles or containers. If a container or bottle gets damaged and there is a leak, you won't lose all your water this way. 3. Food. The best type of food to bring is food that has a lot of nutrition, yet it is light and small in size. This can be jerky, energy bars, pemmican, trail mix, and more. You should also pack with you some food that contain potassium and salt. They get lost in the sweat and thus help retain more water in the body and avoid exhaustion of heat. 4. Survival gear and equipment. You should also pack some essential survival gear and equipment. I recommend taking a rope or cord, emergency blanket, compass, knife, fire aid kit, fire starter, LED flashlight or headlamp, water purification tablets, signal mirror, goggles or dust mask against dust storms. For more information, read the article on our site titled What Should Be in a Survival Backpack. Step 2. Stay calm. When it comes to an emergency or even life or death situation, the first and most important thing is to stay calm and not panic. When you get lost in the desert or encounter any other emergency situation, panicking actually gets you killed, no joking around. When you panic, you tend to lose your cool, you don't think straight or rational, and you're bound to make mistakes and waste a lot of energy that will get you weak, injured, or even dead. So how do you stay cool and calm even when you get lost in the desert? Memorize the following ABC of survival. A. Accepting the situation. Accept the situation you're in, don't blame yourself or others. It is what it is, and now it's time to make the most of it to survive. B. Brewing a cup of tea. You're actually starting fire in the situation, which serves as a calming act during the circumstances. You can also brew coffee or simply start a fire, just engage in this calming act to clear your mind and become free of the stress. There are several ways to start a fire, even if you don't have matches or a light, and we cover those methods in an article on our site. 9 methods to start a fire without matches or lighter. C. Consider your options. Assess what items and resources you have. This can include containers with water, food, emergency survival kits, tools, and so on. D. Deciding on a plan. After you review the situation and all of your options, it's time to decide on a plan that will keep you safe and healthy. E. Executing the plan. The last thing to do is following your plan and staying with it until the situation changes and new conditions arise. Step 3. Know survival strategies. In order to survive in the desert, it's important to follow some survival strategies that suit the situation and environment at hand. Here is what you should know and do in order to increase your chances of survival. 1. Engage during nighttime. It's neither smart nor recommended to move around a lot in the desert during daytime. It's way too hot and you risk injuries and, of course, dehydration. The nights are much cooler, thus allowing you to move farther distances while spending less energy and facing less danger from heat exhaustion. When it is hot, your body will save 3 liters of water a day if you follow this strategy. 2. Stay inside the shelter. You should find and stay inside the shelter during the day when it's hot to move around. If you don't have a car that is in the shade or not in direct sunlight to stay inside, then you need to find a place to serve you as a shelter during the day. Here's what you can do. 1. String cords between 2 objects that have shade during most of the day. 2. Drape an emergency blanket over those cords. 3. Put some pieces of brush over and on top of the blanket. 4. Cover everything with second emergency blanket. 5. The gap between the 2 emergency blankets actually insulates your made shelter and thus keep it a lot cooler. 3. Signaling for help. One good way to signal for help is by starting a fire, which will create visible smoke during daytime. It will also provide light during nighttime. When you're on the move, you should always have a signal mirror with you. With the mirror, you can reflect the sunlight at a plane or maybe even cars in the horizon. If you prefer to stay at a single spot until rescue arrives, you should write the words SOS or help on the ground using rocks or other objects at hand. It's vital that the word you make is visible and readable from above if a plane flies by. 4. Staying in one place or not. It's important to decide whether you prefer to stay in one place till rescue arrives or change spots and places in the desert. If you have enough water and you told a friend or family member your location, it's best to stay in one place and wait for rescue. On the other hand, if you don't have enough water, then it's time to start looking for a source of water, as you can't survive without water more than a few days. Step 4. Finding a source of water. There is no life without water, and the best you can do without is to survive a few days only. Even in the desert, when it looks and feels completely dry, there are still ways to search and maybe find possible water sources. Here are some ways to find water sources in the desert. Finding a source of water. If there has been rain in the desert recently, more like rainstorms, then there is a chance to find pockets of water on flat surfaces, stones, or in rock outcrops. Here are some additional ways to find water in the desert. 1. Look for tracks of animals that lead downhill, as well as for birds that circle in the sky around something or flying insects. 2. Look for riverbeds and canyons and follow them upstream. Then, you should look for a depression and maybe find some water. 3. If you see green vegetation around and especially big plants with wide leaves, there may be water around or nearby. 4. If you're in an area that is being developed, see if there are any buildings around. If the sun sets down or is close to the horizon, you can see its glare reflecting back from distant metal structures and collected water bodies. Use this method to find your destination and a water source. Digging for water. If you happen to find any of the places, environments, or situations mentioned, you should then dig approximately 30 centimeters or 1 feet down the ground. If there is moisture, then enlarge that hole in diameter by 30 centimeters. After a few hours, that hole should be filled with water. It's important to always purify the water you find to get the cleanest possible water without any parasites, bacteria, or chemicals. If you don't have a device or purification tablets to purify the water, you can achieve this by boiling the water. If this is too not possible, then drink the water as is, as your current priority is to survive first. For more information, read the article on our site, Best Ways to Purify Water When Camping, which is true to desert survival as well. Looking for other sources of water. There may be other ways and places to find water other than groundwater. Before dawn, you can find some dew gathering on the plants. Also, hollow tree trunks may contain some water in them. Look for an item that will help you absorb the water or dew, like clothing, and then squeeze everything that was absorbed to a bottle or container. Early in the morning, there's a chance to find water around or near rocks that are half buried. You should turn these rocks over just before dawn in order for some condensation to form. Step 5. Know what to avoid and signs of danger. There are things to watch out from when trying to survive in the desert. I will cover now some signs to watch for and what to do if you notice them. Dehydration. Always watch out for signs that could hint you're on the way to dehydration. These signs can be in the form of dry skin, fading, dizziness, and dark-colored urine that can also have a noticeable smell. If you notice any of these, you must drink more water to avoid dehydration. Resting. If you're exhausted, feel nausea or lightheaded, your skin is clammy and feels cool, then look for a place with shade and get some rest. You should also loosen or even remove your clothes. Take a small sip of salty water or a sports drink, 5 milliliters of salt per 1 liter of water, and cool yourself by putting some wet clothing on your skin. Animals may be dangerous. Basically, mammals as well as reptiles try to avoid from human beings, especially if they are on their own and alone. You also should stay away from animals not to scare it or make it feel it is in danger, which can cause it to react and even attack in defense. That is why the first step to do is to study the terrain. This includes possible animals and wildlife that may live or be in the area or its surroundings. Don't try and reach into small spots and places around the rocks. First, you should try poking it with some kind of stick to reveal hiding snakes, scorpions, or spiders. Also, stay away from hives in the area that have killer bees. Plants. Stay away from spiny plants. This sounds pretty obvious, but try to stay away from areas with spiny plants where you might accidentally fall on them and then get injured, cut, and suffer from an infection. Recommended reading: The Ultimate Desert Handbook, a manual for desert hikers, campers, and travelers by Mark Johnson. It's highly comprehensive and recommended guide on desert hiking and survival. Beautifully illustrated and full to brim with important knowledge, this manual is a must-have if you plan to travel in the desert. It teaches you how to find water and edible plants, how to choose the best spot to camp on, how to take care of your car in desert conditions, what to wear, what equipment to pack, and much more. See the link to this great guide in the description section below this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our video, please like it and subscribe to support our channel. For the full article and more information about off-grid living, survival, camping, and much more, please visit our site and enjoy our articles on these and other topics. Have an amazing day.